Okay. So welcome everybody to, yay, to the beginning of the next round of DreamWeaving technique. And so this is Levity, our first class of Levity. Our nickname for this is called Lightened Awareness. And so let's get started. We've got a nice series. This is essentially an overview of DreamWeaving technique. Just taking the Levity series of classes is generally enough to still give a really good treatment. It wouldn't necessarily be called DreamWeaving, but you can still give a great treatment that targets the core and that you can still find ways to be more specific if somebody has specific goals or specific ailments. Essentially what we're going to do, remember DreamWeaving technique is we've got several different aspects that will cover every single series and that we try to cover in most classes. What we're going to do is kind of pair things up with the topics. So for instance, remember we've got self-care. I'm just going to put SC. Self-care. And then on the other end of that, we're going to have team building. Okay? That makes sense, right? There's the individuality and then the relationship aspect that we're going to look at. And they're mirrors for each other, or they're complementary. We're also going to look at allopathic viewpoint, or AV. And we're going to look at the holistic viewpoint, HV. Okay, we're also going to talk about essential oils and their application. I'm going to put aroma application, or AA. We'll look at the common threads, CT. And then there's this fun leg, and that's you. And so the whole idea is that where all of these things meet, and by the end of the Levity class, we're actually going to do an exercise where you're able to find your own core oils, where all of these things meet. That's your core, so that you can roll right along in your life, efficiently, healthy, and happy. Okay, so that's an overview of all of the topics. We will always cover those topics in every series of classes. And most of the time they will be paired the way that I mentioned. I aim to see a smile or hear laughter with every single class because we want it fun, but still bringing awareness, so these two will be like, okay, so we've also got essential oils with the application. We're going to do that next week. A little more of that next week. This week we're also doing holistic viewpoint as well as allopathic viewpoint. We're going to marry those two things together. And then there's that unique perspective as well as the common threads. Okay, so an overview, we're going to do more than the main chakras, the allopathic organ systems, and the five element theory from Chinese medicine and phases. Have all of you studied chakras?
Yeah.
Yes?
I'm familiar with them. I wouldn't say I've studied them.
Okay, well familiar is reasonable here because we don't want to go too awfully deep yet until we get to the next series of classes. Allopathic organ systems, good to go, studied it somewhat. So I'm going to take a different view of allopathic organ system. Yes, we're going to look at the science, but we also want to look at a different holistic angle. And we're going to actually see how much it does blend with five element theory. And we are going to blend it. Okay, so here are the 11 systems. It's overwhelming, you're like, eek, yeah, sure, but that's what we do in science. We have to compartmentalize, right? We've got double-blind studies and, aspects around science. It's not bad. We're saying, hey, that's great. Let's look at that. They were able to dissect one piece out at a time. Cool. And then there's the 5-element theory and philosophy. And that's, we're looking at the environment, and this is how all of nature works. And there is there isn't necessarily one piece that is left out or looked at by itself, like we do with the allopathic organ systems. So we're saying, this is good, this is good, this is good. Ooh, let's add some oil to it, right? And let's see how they blend together. So today, instead of going base chakra to crown, we're going to start breaking it down. And we're already going to start weaving things together. And I thought, I figured you probably already know something about this stuff, so let's weave it together. This is the thing that's unique. Okay? So today we're going to look at base or root chakra and pointing in the area and sacral chakra. Okay? We're going to leave out solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown for today. Okay? Oh, out they go. Bye-bye. Okay. Today we're going to look at reproductive, urinary, and skeletal system. Okay? The rest of them, I had digestive in there. That was the next one on the list, and you'll see why when we get to the next groups. Okay? And then we're also going to kind of look at water and a little bit of metal. Are you seeing the pattern here so far? Right, we've got base and root chakra and sacral. What is in this area?
Reproductive, urinary.
Reproductive, urinary, and you'll see the tie.
Well, skeletal, I think, would be definitely your base. I mean, it's overall, but you have to have that.
Well, but it also ties in with urinary. Okay?
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that, and we'll come back to that after you guys play.
Sure.
And then we also look at water and metal. The reason we're looking at metal, we're going to start with metal, we're going to end with metal. Okay? Not today, but in the whole series. Because we've got lung and large intestine. Those are the two organs associated with metal in Chinese medicine. Okay? Where is large intestine? Well, the end of it is at the end of us. Right? At our end. So, right where we've got, it goes through the sacral chakra area, but it also leaves out the base chakra. Huh. Well, that's kind of neat. Eh? I think so. And just as a side note, large intestine is the yang organ, lung is the yin. And it's on the back of one of your sheets. So you can even write in that one column where it says bowel, that's yang, and the organ is yin. Okay, so the yang is the masculine and the yin is feminine. We'll get to that at another time, a little more in depth. And then we're also going to talk about water element. Why? Because kidney is the yin, urinary bladder, which is right there, is the yang. So we're already starting to weave things together, right? We can already see, oh shoot, the chakras do kind of weave in with these systems that do actually kind of coordinate with these elements. Even their functions coordinate. So it's kind of neat. But, this class is Levity. So we want to have some fun. We want you to have some fun while you learn about yourself and your own tendencies. Okay? We look at everything as a holistic, kind of as a hologram. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. And so maybe we should cut this part. And let's